What if everything you thought about our Earth, the Sun, even time itself, was completely off? Picture a world where a day for a god lasts half a year, and demons literally live upside down. Sounds like fiction, right? But this isn't. This is ancient wisdom, and it's about to absolutely shatter your reality. Now, lean in, because this story starts with Mayasura, a master architect, a true giant of ancient knowledge. He built incredible cities. He studied the stars. He was brilliant. But even with all that smarts, he was totally confused by the universe. So he went to a divine sage, Arkasamutbuddha. He bowed down, full of respect, his heart just bursting with devotion. But here's the wild part. Mayasura didn't ask basic questions. He wasn't like, "What's the world made of?" Nope. He dove straight into the deepest mysteries. He basically said, "Okay, Lord, how big is the Earth? What shape is it? And what's holding it up? How's it divided? And what about those 7 hidden realms, the Patalas, underneath us?" And then his questions got even crazier. How does the sun make day and night? How does it move across the earth, lighting up all the worlds? This wasn't just about our planet. It was about the whole cosmic setup. He even brought up this weird paradox. Day and night are flipped for gods and demons. Why is that? And how does it even work with the sun spinning?
Okay, get ready for a mind bender. Mayasura then asks, a day for ancestors is a whole month long. For us humans, it's 24 hours. Why isn't time the same everywhere? What's going on? Seriously, think about that. Different beings experiencing time completely differently. Next, he questioned the very rules of the cosmos. Why aren't the rulers of days, years, months, and hours all the same? How does the celestial sphere, with all its planets, actually spin, and what's holding it up? He wasn't just asking if the universe existed. He wanted to know how it worked. He kept digging. How high is everything above Earth? How far apart are things? What are the sizes of the planet and star orbits? And how are they all arranged? He was basically asking for the universe's instruction manual.
And finally, a question we still think about. Why is the sun super hot in summer, but not so much in winter? How far do its rays reach? How many different ways can we measure time, and why? Mayasura, loaded with all these deep questions, pleaded, "Lord, creator of everything, please clear these doubts for me. No one else has the vision to answer them."
But who would actually buy into these crazy ancient cosmic questions? Enter Dr. Ravi, a brilliant modern astrophysicist. He heard about this old text and just laughed. "This is total nonsense," he told his students. They talked about a mountain in the center of the earth, with gods and demons living on it. Clearly, these are just silly myths, not science. They couldn't even get that the earth is round. Forget planetary orbits or relative time. He was so sure modern science had it all figured out. And then the sage
Arkashasamudbhuta, full of endless compassion, started talking. He heard Mayasura's heartfelt plea and began to share a deep, secret chapter. "Listen carefully, Maya," he said. "I'm going to reveal this hidden knowledge about the self. Nothing is kept from those who are truly devoted." This wasn't just about stars. It was a spiritual awakening.
Now, pay attention. The sage started by explaining ultimate reality itself. Vasudeva is the supreme, the ultimate being. He's unmanifest, beyond qualities, peaceful, beyond everything we know, and he can't be destroyed. This is where everything comes from. This divine being living within nature, everywhere, inside and out, first created water, then put his seed inside it. And guess what? From that seed, something incredible happened. It became a golden egg, completely surrounded by darkness. Inside that, Aniruddha, the Eternal One, first appeared. This golden egg, Hiranyagarbha, is super important in the Vedas. It's called the Golden Womb, revered as Hiranyagarbha. He's called Aditya because he's the first being, and Surya because he brings life.
But here's the kicker. This he is the ultimate light, beyond all darkness. This sun, also called Savita, moves through all the worlds, keeping all beings alive. This isn't just our sun, it's a fundamental cosmic principle. He's known as the light-bodied, the one who destroys darkness, the Great One. The Rig Veda is his orb, the Samaveda are his rays, and the Yajur Veda is his form. He's literally divine knowledge made manifest.
And then the sage went on. This incredible Lord is made of the three Vedas. He's the very soul of time itself, the augmenter of time. He's everywhere. He is the soul of everything, all-encompassing and subtle. Everything is rooted in him. Think of the sun as the universe's ultimate clock, the divine conductor. He even described the sun's celestial chariot, creating the wheel of time, which is the year. On his universal chariot, he travels with 7 horses, representing the Vedic meters. This is a powerful metaphor for the universe's dance of creation and time.
Now remember Dr. Ravi, the skeptic. He was probably muttering, just allegories, metaphors, they didn't know real physics. But the sage was just warming up. He explained that 3/4 of this being is immortal and hidden. Only 1/4 showed itself. And for creating the world, this Lord made Brahma, born from ego. And get this, to Brahma, the grandfather of all worlds, he gave the amazing Vedas. And after putting him inside the cosmic egg, he, the Lord, continued to move, sustaining everything. So Brahma, who we know as the creator, was actually created by an even higher power, put in place to bring order.
So, what happened next? Brahma, fueled by ego, focused his mind on creation. From his mind, the moon appeared. From his eyes, the sun, a treasure of light. From the mind also came space, then wind, fire, water, and earth, in that order. These are the 5 great elements, each with a unique quality.
This is the Vedic way of explaining creation, from subtle to solid. And then, from the sun and moon, Mars and other planets were born, coming from fire, earth, space, water, and wind. After that, this Lord, the Master, split himself into 12 parts, what we know as the zodiac signs, and then into 27 parts, the constellations or nakshatras. This is literally the ancient blueprint of our celestial map.
But here's where it gets truly fascinating. This divine being created the entire universe, everything that moves and doesn't move, bringing forth fundamental natures from higher, middle, and lower energies. He then sorted them by qualities and actions, setting up their unique roles as described in the Vedas. This is the cosmic order. From the biggest stars to a single blade of grass, everything has its place and purpose. Now, listen up. The sage then talked about the physical structure. This universe is a hollow sphere, holding realms like Bu, Buvar, and so on. It's like a giant container made of two bowl-shaped halves. This cosmic egg is immense. Inside this cosmic egg, the celestial sphere is called the Yoma Kaksha. Stars spin within it, and below them, one after another, are the other celestial bodies. And then, he actually listed the planets in order, from slowest to fastest, or highest to lowest in their orbits. Saturn, Jupiter, Mars, Sun, Venus, Mercury, and the Moon. These all revolve, stacked one below the other, along with other subtle beings like Siddhas and Vidyadharas. This specific order of planetary spheres was central to their ancient understanding of the cosmos. But here's where it gets really interesting. Right in the center, inside this cosmic egg, the Earth globe just hangs there in space, manifesting the supreme all-sustaining power of Brahman. The Earth floats, held up by divine energy, not by some giant turtle like you might have heard. Dr. Ravi, of course, scoffed. Floating in space? They had no idea about gravity. But wait, the sage explained. Within the earth are 7 beautiful layers, the patalas, filled with divine herbs and essences where Nagas and Asuras live. These aren't just caves, they're separate realms. And right in the middle of this earth globe is Mount Meru, shining with gems and gold, reaching both upwards and downwards. What's cool is the gods and great sages live above it, while the Asuras live below, supported by it, even though they're enemies. So Meru isn't just a physical mountain, it's like the cosmic spine, connecting everything.
But here's the real insight. Meru is surrounded by a great ocean, like a belt around the earth, separating the lands of gods and demons. And guess what? Around Meru, at equal distances in this ocean, starting from the east, are cities built by the gods on different islands. He even named them. Yamakoti in the east, Lanka in the south, that's India, Romaka in the west, and Siddhapuri in the north, where perfected beings live without sorrow. These cities are placed at quarter intervals around the Earth's circumference, with Meru to their north, the only home for the gods. During the equinox, the sun passes directly over them. In these spots, there's no equinoctial shadow and no pole elevation needed. This shows a really specific geographic knowledge.
Now, get this. At both poles, above and below Meru, the 2 pole stars are in the sky. If you're at the equator, both poles appear on your horizon. So where the pole stars are on the horizon, there's no pole elevation. But at Meru, the pole elevation is 90 degrees. This is an incredibly accurate description of how celestial mechanics work with latitude.
But here's the true understanding. When the sun is in the divine part of the sky, starting with Aries, the gods see it. For the Asuras, when it's in the opposite part, starting with Libra, the sun passes through their region. Because of how close it is then, the sun's rays are super intense in summer for the gods, but mild in winter. This explains seasons based on proximity and perspective. And then, at the equinox, both gods and Asuras see the sun on their horizon, but for them, day and night are completely flipped relative to each other. When the sun enters Aries and moves north through 3 zodiac signs, that's forenoon for the folks in Meru. What happens next? When it moves through Cancer and other signs, that's their afternoon. For the Asura dwellers, it's similar with Libra and Capricorn. So their days and nights are simply reversed. And the length of day and night? That's also determined by the sun's full rotation.
Now, here's the twist, the revelation that completely silenced even Dr. Ravi. For them, half day and half night are reversed during the solstices. Gods and Asuras consider themselves up relative to each other. Just think about that for a second. People on the same longitude actually see each other as down, like those in Bhadrashva and Ketumala would see people in Lanka and Siddhapuri as below them. But here's the mind-blowing part. On every part of the Earth globe, your own location is considered up. How can a globe have a fixed up or down? And then the absolute bombshell. Because humans are so small, everyone everywhere sees this spherical Earth as flat and circular, looking out in all directions from their own spot. Dr. Ravi, who had been going on about flat earthers, just froze. This ancient text knew the Earth was a globe, and it explained why we humans perceive it as flat. This wasn't ignorance. It was an understanding of perception itself.
And then the sage unveiled the deep truth about relative time. The celestial sphere spins right for the gods, but left for the Asuras. This whole celestial dome moves above us, always heading west. This is a seriously complex celestial mechanism. Because of this, in those regions, day and night are 30 nauticas each, that's 12 hours. And the way day and night lengthen or shorten is always opposite for the Deva and Asura regions. In Aries, the day always gets longer, especially in the northern direction for the Devas, and night gets shorter. The complete opposite happens in the Asura region. What then? In Libra, the increasing and decreasing of day and night are also reversed for each other. This understanding related to Earth's tilt was explained earlier. These are incredibly precise astronomical observations. He even described calculating the sun's movement above and below the equinox using the Earth's circumference and declination.
But here's the craziest part. If you subtract the maximum declination from a quarter of the Earth's circumference, the rest tells you how much the sun appears to move. For example, at the solstices, for the Devas and Asuras, there's 1 day and 1 night that are 60 nadikas long each. That means at the poles, a single day or night can last for 6 months. Within that period, at the 60 nadika mark, day and night swap their increase and decrease. Beyond that, this celestial sphere starts rotating the other way.
Now, listen carefully. When the sun is in Sagittarius or Capricorn, it disappears from the northern Deva region, where the Earth's quarter circumference is smaller than what's derived from the declination. Likewise, for the Asura region, it's not seen when the sun is in Gemini or Cancer. In Meru, the gods only see the sun rise once during the half cycle starting from Aries, and the Asuras see it rise once during the half cycle starting from Libra. This absolutely confirms those 6-month day and night cycles at the poles. What's even crazier? When the sun is above Bhadrashva, it causes sunrise in Bharata, that's India. It's midnight in Ketumala and sunset in Kuru. And as it keeps revolving through places like Bharata, it creates midday, midnight, and sunset in sequence, moving clockwise. Folks, this explains time zones across the globe.
Dr. Ravi wasn't scoffing anymore. His eyes were wide with shock. These ancient sages understood not just a spherical Earth, but its rotation, its tilt, how day and night are perceived differently, and even time zones. His primitive myths were turning out to be an incredibly complex, multi-layered scientific and spiritual system.
But here's the ultimate shocker, the thing that completely changed Dr. Ravi. The pole's elevation tells you how the celestial sphere is tilted as you approach Meru. Move towards the equator, and it's reversed. This celestial sphere, held by the two poles, is powered by the Pravaha wind and constantly spins. The planet orbits are all fixed to it in perfect order. This describes the cosmic engine, the unseen forces making the heavens move. And then the sage repeated, gods and asuras see the sun rise only once every half a year. Ancestors who are on the moon experience a day that lasts a whole 2 weeks. And we humans on Earth, we have our own 24-hour day. This cemented the idea of relative time. Time isn't fixed. It changes depending on where you are and what you are.
Now, listen carefully to the sheer numerical genius. Higher planets have bigger orbits. Lower ones have smaller. Bigger orbits cover more ground. Smaller ones less. A planet on a smaller orbit finishes its trip faster. A planet on a bigger orbit, moving in a massive circle, takes a long time. So the moon, with its small orbit, zips around quickly many times. Saturn, on its huge orbit, takes ages to complete a single trip. Folks, this is Kepler's third law, thousands of years before Kepler even existed.
And then, the absolutely mind-boggling specific numbers. The sun's orbit is measured by multiplying its revolution by 60, revolving at its highest point for that many yojanas. The moon's orbit is given as 3,425 units. Mercury's orbit, for its speedy movement, is 1,023,400 units. Venus's fast movement is 764,537 units. Then the Sun, Mercury, and Venus orbits are 40,100 units. Mars's orbit is 864,010 units. The Moon's farthest point is 382,328 units. Jupiter's is 15,305,737 units. Rahu and Ketu, the lunar nodes, are 20,874,523 units. Saturn's is 1,257,595 units, and the stars, a whopping 208,587,000 units. These ancient sages, without any modern telescopes or calculators, were giving numerical values for celestial orbits that hint at an astonishing level of observation and complex calculation. Dr. Ravi finally understood that his mocking came from his own ignorance, not from superior knowledge. He had been taking a literal mountain to mean a physical hill, when the ancients were describing a cosmic axis, a foundational principle, a multi-dimensional reality.
What happened next was truly profound. Dr. Ravi, the hardened skeptic, was completely transformed. He saw that the yoga of the spiritual arrangement of worlds wasn't just old-school astronomy. It was a map of consciousness itself. The Patalas weren't just underground caverns. They were deeper states of reality. Meru wasn't just a physical mountain. It was the spine of the cosmos, linking the subtle and the physical. And those different time scales for gods, ancestors, and humans, that was an incredible insight into how relative existences experienced uniquely by different levels of being.
He finally grasped that real knowledge doesn't just write off ancient wisdom as primitive. Instead, it tries to understand its many layers of truth, realizing that what looks literal on the surface often hides a deeper, spiritual, or even scientific meaning underneath. The universe isn't just out there. It's an intricate, living dance of consciousness, always being arranged and rearranged by divine will, and seen differently by every single being.
Understanding this incredible cosmic arrangement isn't just about intellect. It's a guide for how we arrange our own spiritual lives. It teaches us that our perspective molds our reality, that time isn't rigid, and that the universe is way more interconnected and alive than we could ever dream.
So, tell me, what piece of ancient wisdom has completely changed your understanding of the world? Drop a comment below.